Hi all. My name is Alex Erm and I'm glad to see you on my channel. Here we discuss various stories from people's lives, share our experiences and help each other with advice. Let's begin. My life improved after cheating wife left. My story actually goes back a few years, but the current situation has sort of brought it back to life in a way. I turned 39 last December. My GF birthday is 1 week before mine. My daughter's falls in between, so we tend to have a birthday week celebration. We had been together for nearly 7 years at the time, married for almost 5. I thought we were very happy. The speed with which everything changed shocked me. All of this started back when I was 32 and my daughter was 4. My ex-wife was 31. My ex-wife joined a new gym because of a promotion they were having. It was a very expensive high-end place. It was after that when the trouble started. The details of the cheating aren't that interested, so I'm not going to spend much time describing it. For about 6 months my ex-wife became distant, picking fights a lot, going out on girls' nights, etc. After about 6 months of all this I went away on a business trip, and when I came home, my ex-wife had moved out. Maybe 2/3 of all her stuff and most of my daughter's stuff was gone. On the kitchen their divorce papers. No note, nothing. She was offering 50 and 50 custody and didn't want any money or the house. Now it might be important to know that at this time I was already earning 6 figures plus bonuses and commissions. Due to some very wise investments and careful planning, I expect to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday or soon after. But I guess she wasn't willing to wait. She is a stunning and beautiful woman, so it's not too surprising she was able to meet the guy she did. Especially in revealing gym clothes. I didn't know this when I found the divorce papers, but the man she left me for was already a millionaire. He was also 45. But I didn't know about the other man at the time. All I knew is my wife and left with our child and left behind divorce papers. She wasn't answering my call or anything. Her parents and siblings didn't know where she was. Eventually I talked to her, but she didn't tell me about the other guy. She just said that she wasn't happy and she wants to move on. After a couple weeks, what convinced me to sign the papers was when I received an invitation to her second wedding. I signed the papers and she was remarried 3 months after leaving me. I'm giving kind of an abridged version because the details of all this aren't so unique. Once I was divorced, I got to see my daughter again, and basically she spent half her time with me and half her time with her mother. I focused on being a better and more present father. I redoubled my efforts to work out and established a thorough exercise regimen. I took some courses about investing and trading and made a fortune. I even discovered a new hobby, woodworking. I would find used furniture usually that had been thrown out and I would refinish it. Eventually I started dating again, but it was nothing too serious. I was more concerned with having another woman around my daughter. She never really warmed up to wife's second husband. My daughter often said that he tolerated her, but that was it. She didn't use those exact words, but that's what she described. Eventually I met my current girlfriend. We've been together about 3 years now, living together for 2. My girlfriend is from Thailand and is 10 years younger than me. She studied therapy and worked in a spa. Her and my daughter get along great and my ex-wife is very jealous. My GF and daughter enjoy spending time together in a way I don't think my ex-wife has experienced. For example, GF and daughter both have long hair and enjoy watching videos online on how to make very elaborate braids and hairstyles. My daughter enjoys this more than the expensive toys my ex-wife is always buying. Time for the plot twist. 2020 were not kind to my ex-wife's new husband. He worked as a business consultant and lost about 75% of his clients when the companies wanted to save money. They might hire him again in the future, but now it's tough. He still has plenty of money, but he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck. Furthermore, it turns out he was also heavily in debt. I don't know all the details, but I've heard he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt as well as outstanding loans. He had to sell his house and they moved into a condominium. He had sell off a lot of his assets to cover most of the costs. He is still comfortable, but their lifestyle took a drastic downgrade. The upside for me, my GF, and daughter, is that my daughter has been living with us full-time for nearly a year. I happily volunteered to take her while they were dealing with their financial situation. The three of yous have already visited my GFS family in Thailand, and after the pandemic situation is over we are going to go back and have a wedding in Thailand. We are tentatively planning on relocating to Thailand. My daughter visited Thailand with us and we haven't fully talked about it, but she is excited about living in Thailand with us. She has even started taking Thai language lessons online. I don't know how this will work exactly, and it's not like it will happen tomorrow, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my story. I hope it can help as a source of encouragement and motivation for people going through something similar. Remember that things can get better even after a bad situation. Next story. Wife cheated after 13 years together. Need support. Hi everyone. A little background, my wife have been together for 13 years. We started dating when we were roughly 16, never broke up, and got married 3 years ago. We had the kind of relationship that others were jealous of, and everyone always expected us to get married when we were younger. Over the past year and a half to 2 years things started changing between us. Some issues came up with her family and she started to become more and more distant, both emotionally and physically, starting being super protective of her phone, and grew closer and closer with a male coworker. Long story short, I snooped, yes, I know this is bad, on her phone because I had a feeling something was going on based off a variety of factors, and found incriminating texts confirming that she was having an affair with this guy. When I confronted her early September, she owned up to it, saying that it had been going on for a year. They had been having the affair in our home, sleeping together in the bedroom that would eventually be the room where our future children slept. She apologized, saying it would never happen again, and I told her that in order for us to move on I need her to have no contact with the person she cheated on me with. 2 months later and they are still talking occasionally, with her saying it is unfair of me to ask her to not talk to someone she considers a close friend. I honestly don't know what to do at this point. I am trying to see if I can move on, but I feel like I can never trust her again. I feel like her choosing to be in touch with him still shows that she is choosing their relationship over ours. I am just totally torn on what my gut is telling me. She also told me not to tell any of our friends what is going on, so I don't even have someone to talk to. Sorry, this was a bit of a rant, but it's the first time I have written it all out, and I really do not know how to proceed or how to cope with this. I am going to call the lawyer I spoke to a few weeks ago tomorrow and see how he says I should approach the situation. Update. I figured it was time to update since all of your advice was so helpful. After posting here a little over a month ago and reading all of your advice, I called my lawyer, told my parents and some close friends what was going on, and told my wife that I wanted a divorce. She begged and pleaded, promising to make things better and cut off contact with the AP. We spent all weekend together with her, promising things and saying and doing all the right things. I did not fully believe her, but I was willing to give her one more chance to try and save what I thought we had. Things were fine, we were more or less just coexisting for about a month, but she was on her phone a lot less and being more attentive to me. Well, 2 weekends ago she handed me her phone to show me something, and I suspiciously swiped up on her open apps and there she was, talking to her AP on Instagram. I flipped out and she promised he just messaged her and she told him that she could not talk. This was blatantly false as I read their conversation and they were discussing what they were each doing that night. I was again duped, lied to and deceived. She told me she would finally block him but wanted to say goodbye since he was a friend. I said it was inexcusable and that she had to cut off contact and block him right then, which she said she would. 2 days later I asked if she had blocked him and she had not yet. End of the long story. I told her right on the spot that we are getting a divorce and we can either go through mediation if she agrees to every single thing that I want, or I can get my lawyer involved and I will get what I want anyway. She agreed to mediation and we are beginning that process shortly. It took me some time to get there, longer than it probably should have, but I finally have enough respect for myself to put an end to this and go find the life of happiness that I deserve. She still tries to make me feel bad about all of this, blaming me to a degree and telling me how awful of a situation I am putting her in, but I reminded her that it was her actions that caused this, not mine, and that she has to live with the consequences of her actions. I have also begun telling more friends about what happened along with the rest of my family. This is not how I ever saw my life going, but I know that this is a blessing in disguise and I will end up with someone who truly makes me happy. Update. So, after telling my ex, 29F, that we were getting a divorce, the gaslighting went into overdrive. Blaming me, telling me that it is my fault that I am doing this to us, that I am giving up on our marriage, that it is really sad that I am letting our relationship end this way, and that I am going to take away the home that our dog knows, etc., etc. I stood strong, didn't let her get to me, and went through with divorce mediation. Mediation was smooth, she agreed to everything that I wanted, and I received notice from the courts yesterday that I am a free man. We sold the house within 3 months of starting mediation. She moved out 1 month prior to closing on the house. The gaslighting continued while living together waiting for the house to sell, with her continuing to blame me and telling me that I am mean because I refuse to speak to her at all, and countless other things that only a truly sick individual would think to be true given the situation. Once the house sold, I moved back to my parents for a few months to collect myself and just figure out what to do with my life. I started weekly therapy and was able to reflect on the relationship, seeing how toxic and one-sided everything was. How I was the one always putting myself second and sacrificing my happiness to try to tolerate her and her unrealistic needs and expectations. My therapist suggests that it sounds like she has borderline personality disorder, which is a condition that runs in her family, and it makes total sense. I was also able to, and continue to, work on underlying issues that allowed me to get into such a toxic relationship, and at this point I feel like I will be able to identify the warning signs. I recommitted to my physical health as well, losing 15 pounds over the last 3 months and getting back into running, currently training for a 10K. Early this month I moved into my own place in New York City. I am reconnecting with friends who I lost touch with, and I have started dating for the first time in my life, albeit pretty unsuccessfully at this point. Plus, I got a promotion at work a few weeks ago that I worked my tail off for. I am mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially in a better place than I have been in years, and her showing me her true colors by having this affair was the greatest favor she could have done for me. I still have not told all of our mutual friends about the affair, as I was afraid she would get angry and tank mediation, but now that the divorce is final I will be notifying everyone in our lives as to who she is and what she did. I guess all this was all just a long-winded way of saying that things will get better. There is nothing wrong with any of us because we were cheated on, and to try to use this as a launching point for you making yourself better and working to make yourself the best possible person. This is going to be my last significant post here most likely, as while I don't think my journey of healing has come to an end, it's just come to a new chapter, and dwelling on what this woman did to me is not worth it. Thank you again for all the support, both in terms of kind words as well as the harsh truths that I had to read. Dear friend, if you like my content, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.